All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, depending on what part of the globe you're sitting. I'd like to thank everybody for attending Kaar Technologies webinar for S/4HANA Public Cloud. By way of introduction, my name is Ken Wojcicki. I have 30 years experience in software and software sales and business development. Part of that tenure was being account executive at SAP. And then obviously the last couple of years with Kaar Technologies, one of the top partners worldwide for SAP. And globally, we will kind of explain to you why we feel Kaar should be a partner of choice. So here's today's agenda. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the evolution of the next gen intelligent ERP. And then why, this is obviously very important, why choose SAP S/4HANA Cloud over anybody else's? We hope to give you great reasons for that. The functionalities covered in S/4HANA Public Cloud, how Kaar implements it. We feel we have a very unique process that could greatly benefit the end users. And then we're going to discuss KEBS, which is a proprietary Kaar technology IP for mid-market companies that is also listed in the SAP store. So who are the people that are going to be bringing you all this? Elliot Glenn, who brings well over 18 years of distinguished service at SAP. I've actually worked with Elliot for a long time now. Sukumaran, who is a solutions architect for Kaar Technologies with over 25 years experience. And then lastly, Sachi, who is 5 years plus experience with RISE and Public Cloud, who runs the pre-sales team for the United States for Kaar Technology. Also, I'd like to introduce Richard Fitzharris, who will be closing the call and handling some of the question and answer portion at the end of the webinar. Richard brings a vast amount of experience to Kaar Technologies. We're lucky enough to have him recently join. So let's talk real quick about who Kaar Technologies is. So KaarTech has been a SAP partner for 17 years now. A couple of things, and I won't go through this whole slide, but I would like to point out a couple of what I feel are major differentiators and a lot of the reasons why I decided to join Kaar Technologies. First off is we are a Kaar or an SAP pure play. So meaning we do nothing other than SAP solutions. I think that's beneficial to a lot of end users for the simple reason when we do an implementation, whether it's SuccessFactors, SAP to RISE, whatever, and there's issues or add-ons down the road, it's the same people coming back and working with you that did that initial work with you. It's very important instead of reinventing the wheel and starting over. I think it's a very big plus that KaarTech offers. We also have this slide's a little old. It shows 2,000 plus projects. I believe we're over 3,000 plus products now on a global basis with over 400 customers. Again, we are SAP pure play, focused on this. Over 1,000 of our employees are consultants that do the implementations. And I do want to point out, I think it's very important, all of our consultants are SAP employees. We do not engage in a implementation and go out and hire 1099 people. We are all W-2 consultants that are been with us for a long time for the most part. As I mentioned, we have some proprietary IP, KTurn and KEBS, which we're going to dive into a little bit deeper. Some of the industries on the far right that KaarTech focuses on, again, we can get into these on a more individual basis if needed. The top four people are the founders of our companies. Maren, who is our CEO, has made a strong commitment in our North American market to the point where he's actually relocated to the US to ensure success. So as a result of everything I just went over and the success that we've had globally, and as a result, these are a number of our logos. that we have, and this is obviously just a sample size of KaarTech, but the point I'd like to make is we are very experienced. We have, I believe, the highest expertise for a consultant base of any partner in North America. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Elliot of SAP and let him kind of kick us off on the technical session. Elliot, the floor is yours.
Hey, thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join us today. You know, my name is Elliot Glenn, and I am a cloud evangelist, and I want to help you understand a little bit more about where SAP sees this. And, you know, if you think about the past couple of years, if the myriad of disruptions, you know, like the pandemic, supply chain issues, economic uncertainty, and the climate change have taught us anything, it's that disruption demands change and that uncertainty demands options. And in uncertain times, you know, preparedness for change and options for decision-making become essential. And to that point, here's a recent Gartner study that shows that 67% of chief executive officers, not chief information officers, want more technology done directly within the business and less in IT. So business leadership wants to move decision-making over to the business units. And this move out of IT to the business is one of the big reasons for public cloud and the cloud mindset. But what is that cloud mindset? Yeah, so the cloud mindset is, what do we mean by that? It's essentially, you know, what is that and what does it bring in terms of cloud qualities? When we look at the definition, there's some key things to call out. The rapid adoption of best practices, leveraging cloud technology, and using have in continuous innovation. But there's also some key points to point out. It has to be agile, flexible, and collaborative. And there's the things that are important in order to make sure you get the business benefits out of the cloud mindset rather than looking to technology itself, you know, being in the cloud. And when we look at SAP and our public cloud solution, our SaaS solution, it's really the value proposition is about simplicity. And first of all, it has to be simple to use. So we're talking about the ability to have, you know, a solution in the cloud which it has really predefined processes. So it's got to be as much plug and play, you know, with a beautiful user interface, and it has to be Google-like. So nobody teaches you how to use Amazon. You know how to use it out of the box. And from a user perspective as well, it's got to be simple to deploy. So there's an expectation in the cloud in terms of a SaaS approach, but it has to be really simple to deploy so you can quickly and easily do all the fine-tuning configuration, and the result is a quicker time to value. And you know, it's really important that we talk about, you know, what that is, and we'll look at that more in a couple slides down the road. And what we also want to make sure about is that it's simple to own and operate, because in the SaaS world, you know, customers are expecting to have to, they're not expecting to have to do lengthy upgrades, and has to always be on the latest release. So you don't want to worry about the infrastructure either from a maintenance perspective, and the cost really should be transparent to the customers. So what we're looking at is to have a lower TCO because you've got less things to do within the organization. It also becomes far more predictable, and we'll talk about that in a couple slides. So when we talk about simple to use, you know, what do we mean by that? You know, what does it mean really? And this starts by looking at the best practices that we have available. So these standardized best practices that we've come up with from our 40+ years of experience, and making sure they are easily understood, and that there's a user experience that is easy to consume them, and easy for you to understand everything fits together as a solution. And it starts right at the pre-sale stage. You know, when we're looking and talking to customers, about their requirements and how, we can map them using this digital discovery assessment tool, or DDA. And we're able to do is identify the best practice scope items, which will allow you to address, your business requirements. And either via a detailed session where we go through and capture each one of these requirements, or we can accelerate it with a template approach where we can pre-populate scope items that we think will be needed based on the scenario. And it goes beyond looking at the scope items. It's what we can do in a very collaborative way. So when it comes to customers understanding, what those scope items are and what those best practices are, to include looking at what are the benefits, what are the key process flows, the test scripts, even going down to the detail of, what's the process flow map, and then taking it even further, seeing videos and click-throughs that allow us to, see the individual screens and to envision, what you would see and what it would be like to use the solution live. So all that readily available for you. But there's more, and that is, what is it like to be simple to deploy? So that discovery assessment and understanding, how we can take your requirements and meet them with the various scope items is the first step. And then we have a very methodical approach using the SAP Activate methodology, which has been customized to the public cloud to allow you to do the discovery, the explore, the realize, the deploy, the monitor, and optimize very quickly and easily, even using robotic automation to do the configuration. And this is where we really have a significant advantage. If you look at the entire process, where we take it from discovery assessment, we can understand the best practices, fine-tune them using the central business configuration tool, and then accelerate the data migration and also the testing of the solution with automated tools and testing. But also understand once you're live, you can optimize using the roadmap explorer. And what we see is really a reduction in fees, a decrease in overall cost, and then once you're live, a reduction in TCO. So the whole idea of being simple to deploy is really a huge advantage for all our customers. And every customer gains from it. And it's an expectation with the SaaS-based approach, by taking the discovery assessment and then working through the process, you can really deliver on a rapid adoption. But also, you've got to have confidence. And that confidence is in the ability to have simple to use, simple to deploy, but also once it's deployed, you got to have, a simple to operate. And that's where the SaaS really comes into its own, because everything's basically taken care of by SAP. We're running all the systems and also the upgrades there as well. And to that point, feature delivery is on a monthly basis. And then there's a twice annual upgrade as well, which all gets deployed by SAP. And there's a requirement, for some testing done from a customer perspective, because maybe they're taking on new scope items that they haven't had in their instance before, but that's really it. Beyond that, they can just adopt the innovations as they see fit on, their own time, through an agile perspective. But, you're always on the latest release, always up to date, and that includes content. So if we ship some new functionality, we'll provide some content so allow you to be able to use it, test it. And so the key benefit here is that the costs are predictable and known. It's not like the traditional approach where we've got some large scale upgrades in the future. We've got the benefits of this simple to use, simple to deploy for any of the new capabilities which we have. And then when you think about the cloud qualities, what are the differentiating qualities that this brings? And really, there's agility, which is needed when you're looking at the cloud paradigm. So it's about rapid implementation. It's about self-service capabilities. and a high degree of automation. But it's also flexible. So one of the benefits of having a smaller, cleaner core means that you can focus on the modularity and the extensions. And there's also got to be the extensibility. So there's no point in having a fit to standard if you can't, cater to the differentiating capabilities which are required. And, you need to be able to integrate both out of the box to your own solutions and partner solutions, but also an open architecture, to other solutions customer may have. It's also got to be innovation. It's a key. If you look at SAP, we're providing a cloud-first innovation in the public cloud, but we're also focusing on those key areas of intuitive user experience, embedding intelligence and analytics, and increasing automation, towards an autonomous ERP. And it's got to be resilient. So with best in class, uptimes, has to be responsive, scalable, so customers are unimpeded. And of course, it's got to be secure. With the increasing numbers of large enterprise customers coming into the solution, they've got to be comfortable around the backup and disaster recovery. And definitely the data protection is top of mind, for all the firms. So if we drill into these just a bit more, so you can understand, traditionally we did a blueprint with design, then customize the solution. And there's a degree of development in that. And historically, it's more time consuming, but with the public cloud, we're talking instead a transformation using fit to standard approach. And typically this is going to be, with the business rather than the IT. And we're going to start with those standard best practices. And the idea is fit to standard. But then in order to go beyond the fit to standard, we've got a modular, agile approach and a scalable architecture. And so this allows, us to have a rapid, repeatable approach in terms of how we roll things out and deploy quicker. But it also allows us to have a quicker return on investment and a higher return on investment that ultimately lowers, your total cost of ownership. The innovations are all there. So we've got, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but we've taken a lot of strides in this area in the public edition. First of all, it comes standard with a new user experience called Horizon, which is about a nice, white, clean, easy to understand, but also a high degree of personalization and notifications. So each user's screen is about making them as efficient as possible, even within a standardized solution. We've also got a built-in intelligence capability. And what do we mean by that? So it's got the analytics cloud embedded as a standard, which allows the fantastic user experience of analytics cloud to consume the data real time. So there's no transfer of data into a separate tenant, and you'll be able to tune those analytics as well so that you can get the quickest decision making to improve the business. And for example, when we get to a point in a project where we have to say have a bill sent out, automatically that can be triggered and be sent out. So in addition to that, there's a lot of automation embedded, so that KPI that can trigger a particular event, which triggers an automated to action, we can do that. And what's particularly great is what we've included for collaboration capabilities. So we've got the ability to integrate with Microsoft Teams and Google Workspace, and it really allows us to change the paradigm in efficiency. Just to give you a little look at that, here's an example of what a screen would look like, but the ability to do that look, see, if you will, in Teams is just notify someone about what's going on in the business at this time, just by moving forward and being able to take a screen capture, put in what is required for the the details of the note, and then when someone gets this, all they have to do is click on the screen picture there, and it'll automatically take them into SAP. So this kind of fantastic capability that you're already using, the collaboration capabilities of Teams or Google Workspace, you can just piggyback on what SAP has in terms of connectivity to be able to make your workforce even more successful. And then from a flexibility perspective, there's a lot that comes out of the box when it comes to this. So what do we mean by flexibility? So there's flexibility which is inherent in terms of that modular architecture. So that's built into the S/4HANA Public Cloud Edition. And when it comes to, though, integrating with other solutions, for example, people integration with line of business solutions like SuccessFactors for HR or Concur for expense reports, you can do that readily and easily. But there's also integration to industry cloud and partner solutions. So for example, the industry cloud solution that we have for subscription billing is integrated to this. So you can provide, that innovative business models such as anything as a service. And that's all underpinned by that business technology platform, which we use for integration and extensibility. And what we can see also is that flexibility is important in terms of the fully featured capabilities of S/4HANA Public Cloud. So we're able to essentially bring all the industry scope and full line of business scope in there from a local and globalization perspective as well. But crucially, we're able to extend out to partner solutions where, cloud compliant extensibility within the core, in which we call in-app extensibility, developer extensibility, and then integrate from a cloud integration perspective to any third-party solution or the customer's own solutions. So very quick to do. And from a resiliency perspective, we've got great, rock solid, scalable foundation, which allows us to constantly monitor the performance of the solution and fine tune to make sure that we're giving customers like you, what they'd expect. And we've got great uptime. So the service level agreement is 99.7, but you can see we're performing at 99.9 with tons of transactions. So being able to provide you with the confidence you can trust and provide that solution is hugely important. And of course, it's got scalability. So if you look at the throughput that we're seeing at the moment with increasing large customers through the public cloud edition, that's something that we can certainly be confident of. The other thing is we got to be confident of security and making sure that that's completely aligned in terms of your overall SAP processes, making sure, there's a secure development and we have operations completely secure. And then in terms of, independent certification, we've got that as well. And it's all taken care of, just as you would expect. And so I know this has been a brief time to understand what we have here, but before I transition to KaarTech, there's one thing, I want you to take away, and that is the public cloud really requires a paradigm shift in thinking. As this great quote says, adopting a cloud mindset has been identified as the single most important predictor of cloud success, and that's hugely important. So, it's not about moving to the cloud, simply taking operations and putting them hosted. In the cloud, if you want to be successful, it's really about making sure you drive that cloud mindset. And at SAP, we have the S/4HANA Public Cloud, SaaS edition ready for your company to make that terrific transformation for you. Kaar, go ahead.
Thank you, Elliot. That was really extremely insightful. So in this webinar today, we have a lot of enterprises that are operating in multiple geographies across the world. Some may have 24/7 operations, and in these, some of the businesses that you operate, the end users would like to use the centralized ERP system in their local language. As a company who has done a lot of multi-country, multi-entity implementations, we understand the need for localization. I can happily report that S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition comes with 48 local versions and is available in 29 languages. Even if your country is not available in this list, and we need to create a customized localization, we can just select a source country or region that most closely meets the legal and scope requirements, and then copy the localization with minimal changes. Your next stream of thought would be, is S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition available as a standard for my industry? Yes, S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition is available for the industries that you see on the screen. Also, it includes almost all the industries that are available in the general market. And if your industry is not available here, worry not. It would be a subset of the industries that is mentioned here, or we have them covered in a similar SaaS model under SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition. As a system integrator, our first step is to conduct a discovery session with the business. This discovery session will facilitate us to arrive at the solution mapping. And this mapping would be a direct match between the business need and how SAP can solve it. If you were or an SAP customer, you might have heard the BPML, the Business Process Master List. That is the most important document for any implementation. But if you're new to SAP, let me give you a brief overview. The BPML, or the Business Process Master List, is where you establish the baseline, a detailed scope from where you can carry out the configuration of the system. Similar to this, SAP has brought in the GSIs called as SAP Global Scope Items. And these are pre-made templated scope items specific for said industries. And in this, what you see is what you get. Even during the discovery, we understand the businesses at a micro level. So this helps us in smoother and faster implementation. Usually, the system integrators stop with the L3 level that you see on the screen, the level 3. But we at KaarTech are interested in the depth of what we do. So we go till L5 or L6. The GSIs are structured as levels. And if you see here, the level 1 is the line of business. Level 2 is business process grouping. Level 3 is business process. Level 4 is business process variant. And level 5 is activity. To give an example of, say, asset accounting, the LOB here would be finance. The business process grouping would be accounting and financial close. The business process is asset accounting with a GSI code J62. So we have specific codes for said business functions or business processes, so that these are templatized and even the updates on the scenarios are made as available. The level 4 would be J62-01 asset accounting, considering that there are no variants for that selected GSI. And the final level would be J62-01 create asset master. So the last one is your activities. The level 5 are your activities. Yeah. So S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition is a broad, fully functional ERP, which has a scope to cover across all the functional areas any customer would expect, both for back office capabilities and for the differentiating industry specific capabilities, such as customer projects, make to order, make to stock, assemble to order, supply chain management, and other industry specific capabilities. Out of the box, S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition offers more than 800 best practices scope items. We would go over a few items in detail in the finance module, but just to highlight a few items in the manufacturing, we have environmental health and safety, called as the EHS, sustainability, and 6 more. To take a look at the finance and controlling global scope items, as you see here, there are more than 248 best practices scope items, and these are nothing but the business processes that are available as standard. We have listed a few here, and I would like to discuss on a few items. Accounting and financial close. In this, being an intelligent ERP, SAP can record all your business transactions, including the primary postings and settlements from internal accounting. And in this system, it is fully integrated with all the operational areas of the company, and this ensures accuracy and completeness for the accounting data. Yeah, one good feature that we're proud of is group reporting. With this, you can have an unified financial close process and eliminate the need for multiple systems by drilling down from consolidated reports to see documents detailed in the general ledger. The third one I would like to look upon is on the intercompany reconciliation. This scope item covers the process of reconciling the accounting documents that describes the accounting transactions within a corporate group in accordance with a predefined matching method. This allows early analysis in the closing process to avoid differences altogether and to reduce the deadline pressure that normally arises during an end of closing period. And you also have your standard business processes covered, such as accounting, account payable, account receivable, logbox, etc. Every business is unique in their business. Every business is unique in their business on certain areas. And what SAP has carved out, we have brought into industry-specific GSIs. For these, the SAP industry business units, known as the IBUs, collaborate with partners like us to work towards developing specific unique solutions, as well as in closing the gaps that are found in the said industries. Yeah. So in each of these white spaces that are found, there are several of the partner ecosystem that are developing a specialized industry cloud solution. We at KaarTech, with our industry and SAP tribal knowledge, have arrived at the solutions to some of the white spaces and developed applications in SAP Business Technology Platform. Over the years, we have addressed with multiple customers to solve their unique requirements. And today I'm listing a couple of them that can be used across multiple industries. We have seen customers wanting to have a platform where all their business partners are brought in a single place. And we have developed exactly that. An all-in-one platform where your customers logs in to book orders, your vendors log in to see what they can supply to the company, and the company users log in to see all the data in that single platform. If you don't want to have a full-fledged CRM, you can have a mini version that would help you to convert your leads to opportunity and then move to closure. The people allocation system allows you to govern where your resources are, where they are built, where they can do an effective billing in another opportunity, and also gives you a detailed report of the resources. An intelligent time booking system where all your payroll employees, as well as your contingent workforce, can utilize a single platform to book. Even this timesheet booking is automated to the extent that the booking can happen with a click of a button, where if you say that I book my timesheet, the timesheet automatically populates the cost center that I'm associated with, and it automatically fills in all the weekends, and all I must do is now submit. Even though industry standards and best practices is the preferred way to go, every business is unique, and we would highly recommend adopting to the best practices. But there could be some functional areas where the businesses need to be given the preference. So these are the open areas or the space for innovation for us to custom develop the solutions on BTP. So next we have is how we do it. Yeah. So digital transformation consulting is a service that brings the power of a design-led approach to digital process simplification by mapping the objectives and business difficulties to relevant solutions effectively and efficiently. Every consulting firm does these digital transformations, but how we do it and what we do with it is what makes us unique. We not only understand what your business pains are, but also work on understanding your business aspirations, your long-term goals, your short-term goals, and what would do good if we don't understand what you have right now. What do you have right now? Taking all these as the inputs will help us arrive at the most appropriate tailor-made recommendations for the business. Yeah. So if you are an SAP customer, or we start with connecting our digital transformation platform to analyze what is there in your system. This is a probe-less, read-only access that helps on the detailed report on what you have. But if you are in any other ERP, then no worries. We start with an industry workshop with your SMEs and your PPOs to inventorize all the business processes and any pains that they face. Then we go up the ladder to the executive team to understand the business aspirations. We work with you to discuss and finalize the priority of these inventorized processes. We can also automate the inventory of these problems and arrive at a few strategic level recommendations on the minor fixes or quick fixes, some process correction or also some implementations. Then we internally work on the solutions that we would be able to provide and arrive at a few options on the scenarios by which the problems can be solved. Once these are reviewed and finalized with the team, we can go ahead and work on the system recommendations, follow it with a business case report that can be presented to the board. and arrive at the tentative project timeline, schedules, and milestones. And this becomes your blueprint for your implementation. The results are published that are basically the derivatives of the inputs that were taken from the business pains, the business aspirations, the inputs from the system, and the business workshops. This closes the step one of the digital transformation. Now we go ahead with the implementation. Yeah. So we all know the tried and tested SAP Activate methodology. Elliot had a few lines about this as well, and all the phases that are there. Every SI can do this, but we, with our 16 years of SAP implementation experience, our SAP knowledge, have developed a digital transformation accelerator called as Kaar.ai, which is an automated, accelerated SAP digital transformation platform. With this, what if I say that you can have your ERP up and running in 30 days? And yes, the baseline activation of the foundation scope takes up to 30 days or less using predefined bundled built into the core with SAP Activate and Kaar. SAP's cloud foundation scope comprises of content commonly used by a majority of the customers. And for activation of the solution, we have industry-specific templates as accelerators and automation accelerators for configuration, migration, and testing. So this increases the time to value. With Kaar's digital projects, the level of automation in dealing with documentation, project planning, cadence, workforce, sign-offs, reporting helps in reducing 35% of the project efforts. And with documentation, workflow, your approvals, your approval engines, we can increase the productivity of the project to 40%. And this is a single holistic solution where all the project moments, the sign-offs, the error reports, the approvals, the activity delays, the document repositories are maintained with on-demand reporting and analytics. There are some of the screenshots of the platform. In the left top, there's a Gantt chart of SAP Cloud Public Edition project, which follows Activate methodology. And you can see how we have digitalized SAP Activate to help in the acceleration of the complete implementation process on the right-hand side. The third one is a resource utilization sheet. And in any project, we need to know what is the timeline for which the dedicated support is needed from the business, and also the project resources that are to deliver the project. So both from the customer side as well as from the SI or the implementer side. So this will help you on the holistic view of where your resources, or basically this is a user calendar that would help you in understanding where your users are spending their time on. And this functionality is something that can show you a real-time report on where your resources are and what they are supposed to do and what they are supposed to do next. The next bottom is the sign-off cockpit or the approval workflow, where you can track, trace, and govern your project deliverables. This is just the top of the list. If you want to have a detailed demo, you can also send a hi in the group and we'll be able to create another session with you guys. Next in line, I have Mr. Sugmar, who's our product head for KEBS with more than 15 years of experience in solving customers' problems. Over to you, Sugmar.
Thank you, Sachin. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. I'll talk about industry cloud. As Sachin earlier mentioned, every business is unique. So SAP, along with its partners, have developed specialized solutions for specific needs of industries. That's what we call it as industry cloud. So I'll explain more about what industry clouds are and what the product that Kaar Technologies have built in on it. Okay, KEBS is a core enterprise business suite. It's an industry cloud solution that is built on top of SAP and augments SAP's industry's intelligent business and enterprises. The objective here is that you know that all these solutions are cloud. It aims to have one objective whereby you reduce your customization in your core ERP solution. Meaning that when you have a very less customization, your deployment or implementation is faster and cheaper. So the objective is less customization doesn't mean that you need to compromise on your industry specific needs. That's where the industry cloud solutions are coming in handy. Let's take an example of IT service management application, which is built on top of core ERP, which is addressing the specific needs of IT and IT-enabled services, which helps to efficiently operate their businesses. And their extended timesheet functionality ensures that you capture the timesheet at a ticket level or activity level and bill the customer more accurately, and thereby you reduce your revenue leakage. So the whole objective is that when you are adapting the cloud mindset, you also ensure that your industry specific business needs, which the way your business operates in the unique way, the same are also ensured that covered as part of the cloud solutions. That's what we call it as an industry solutions.
Okay. If I can pull it together, and we'll go to the next steps. Just to recap, this is Richard. Thank you, Sachin, and Ken, and the whole team for presenting a great presentation today. Just to recap, KaarTech brings 3,000 successful SAP deployments to your team day one. We have hundreds of use cases we can bring to you day one as well. We'd like to continue this conversation with your leadership team. Myself and Ken and other SMEs would like to continue our conversation and talk with you about our K-turn and a rapid discovery program to move forward with you. The report we'll be generating for your team would also be a board reporting report. And last but not least, we'll be sending out thank yous and the information, this link from this current presentation to everybody on the call today. Look for your comments, and any feedback would be appreciated. And we look forward to continuing our discussion with you and next steps forward. Thank you for joining the webinar today. Thank you.